House of Cards Season 3 just came out, and I'm sure many of you are partaking in one of Kevin Spacey's favorite sins, gluttony, just devouring all the episodes in an unreasonably short amount of time. So when you do finish this show and you're just craving more anti-hero drama, there's another show that might give you the fix you need, called Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is about a family of gangsters who started from the bottom and now they're slowly ascending to power. Set in England right after the First World War, it's based off of a real gang called the Peaky Blinders. They're called Peaky Blinders because the type of caps they like to wear sometimes were called peakies, and they would sneak or they would sew these razor blades into the hats, and that's where they got the nickname from. One of the main antagonists is this chief inspector called Chester Campbell, and he's played by Sam Neill, I think, who's that guy from Jurassic Park. Also, Tom Hardy plays a big role in Season 2, and Cillian Murphy plays the lead. So this is a show already with a lot of movie stars. I don't want to name drop, but this is a really good show, and just having this amazing cast should convince you to at least check it out. This crime family is led by Thomas Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy. He's a leader of his gang/family, which also includes his two brothers and their Aunt Polly. This show is awesome. It really reminded me of Breaking Bad, about different people who kind of get corrupted and their slow ascent to power. I think after the success of Breaking Bad, there was this huge shift from the classic good guys and bad guys to anti-heroes, and I think we're better for it because anti-heroes are more interesting, they're more relatable. People aren't just good or bad, and having ambiguous characters more closely mirrors reality. So I want to make a brief Breaking Bad comparison. It's interesting because Thomas Shelby starts off in a gang, so we already know that he's not a good person. He's kind of bad, or he does bad things. Right off the bat, he has to be ruthless and violent, but throughout the show, we do see his humanity. We understand that he wants to provide for his family, and he's also very ambitious, so he does the things he has to do. Walt from Breaking Bad, on the other hand, starts off the series as a seemingly good guy, but as the show goes on, we see that he had this darkness that he was bottling up, and all these situations just reveal a little bit more of himself. His shell, his outer layer, is that of a family man, but as we peel back the layers, we see that he was inclined for corruption. So these characters are different, but as different things happen and they gain more power, we see who they really are, and that's why both of these shows are really good and really interesting. This show is ripe with opportunities for corruption, and not just about money, but that of the soul. Back to the characters. Thomas Shelby is a cool freaking dude. He is quiet and introspective, and he has his shit together in very intense situations. He's almost like a superhero, like a Lex Luthor, able to see far ahead and formulate and execute plans that you don't think will work, but in the end everything falls into place like he planned. This series also does a good job of showing his vulnerabilities. He can still bleed, he can still suffer, and a lot of this is the result of the great supporting cast that plays his family. His brothers are very different from Thomas, and it makes it clear why Thomas is the leader. One brother is a bit younger and generally does what he's told without too much issue. The other brother is just a powder keg. He has tremendous anger issues, he has a very short temper, and he always seems like he's 1 inch away from just snapping completely. Of course, this is a great setup for drama and a lot of troublesome situations. Both brothers ultimately look up to and listen to Thomas because they know he's the most capable and smartest out of all of them. Finally, there's Aunt Polly, played by Helen McCrory, who might actually be the true star of this show. She plays the wickedly conniving and powerful matriarch of the family, the only person that Thomas Shelby will occasionally listen to. I wasn't familiar with this actress, but I found out that she's pretty famous in Britain, and she played Narcissus Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. She is amazing in this role. Because this is set kind of back in the day, it would have been easy to write these women characters that are weak and submissive. But this character is ruthless, maybe even more ruthless than Thomas Shelby. She doesn't take any shit and does what needs to be done to protect her family. Through all this, because she's just a lady, there definitely still are limitations, but I'll be damned if she isn't the last lady you want to mess with in Britain. This is a great looking series. Every set piece is just amazing eye candy, and we're really thrust into early 20th century Britain. There's a lot of interesting politics between the police, the gangs, and even the government. The relationship between all of these groups are really complex, and there's definitely a lot of corruption going on. Winston Churchill is actually a reoccurring character, and he has his own agenda. It's a very interesting interpretation of what was happening at that time. The soundtrack is also very good. It's very aggressive and tough sounding, and it definitely fits into the spirit of the times. My one issue would be it can be a little melodramatic and predictable. If Breaking Bad, House of Cards, and all the shows that followed hadn't come out yet, this would be the best show ever and everybody would be talking about it. It's a little difficult not to make comparisons because their general story arc is kind of similar. But don't get me wrong, this is one of my favorite shows out right now, and there's a reason I'm comparing it to the two other hugely popular and successful shows. I give this series an A-. Each episode is about an hour long and they're very epic and they're very entertaining. There are 2 seasons currently out right now on Netflix and season 3 will be coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. Who's your favorite anti-hero right now? Let me know in the comment section below. Peace. 71 is set in Northern Ireland and it's about a British soldier that gets separated from his unit and he struggles to survive in all the mayhem.